So we've been digging through this massive stack of listener notes and, productivity blogs this week.
Yeah, and a ton of dense software documentation, too.
Right, lots of documentation. And looking at the hard numbers across all these sources, it points to this pretty staggering conclusion. People can actually save up to 30 times their money.
Wow, 30 times.
30 times, yeah. Or on the flip side, they waste hundreds of dollars a month simply by picking the wrong tool to handle their repetitive digital chores.
Which is shockingly easy to do.
Exactly. So by the end of this deep dive, you will understand exactly how the two biggest automation tools on the internet—
That's Zapier and Make, right?
Right, Zapier and Make. You'll know how they actually work, which one fits your specific brain, and we'll give you one clear action you can take today to get hours of your week back.
I love that.
Welcome to Service Business AI, where curious people come to stay ahead of everyone else.
So we're going to start with a real-world frustration we all share, break down the plain mechanics of how these tools actually grab your data, and then give you the complete playbook to choosing the right one for you.
Which is incredibly relevant for anyone listening right now. Because, we've all been trapped in that mundane cycle of acting as a human bridge.
Oh, the worst.
Think about it. We've all sat there, downloading an email attachment, opening some messy folder, dragging the file over, and then, copying a date from that email into a calendar.
Over and over again.
Yeah, it is so repetitive, it drains your focus, and frankly, humans just shouldn't be doing robot work.
I'd actually argue it's worse than just draining your focus. It eats up your mental RAM.
Right.
Even if dragging a file only takes 10 seconds, having to remember to do it 30 times a day completely fractures your attention.
It really does. You're constantly interrupting yourself.
Exactly. And the productivity blogs we reviewed all hit on the same underlying concept to solve this. It's called workflow automation.
Okay, workflow automation. It sounds a bit like corporate IT jargon.
It does, but the sources break it down into a very simple premise. Think of workflow automation like a digital domino effect.
Okay, dominoes. I can picture that.
Right, so you knock over the first domino, and the rest fall on their own in a perfect line without you ever touching them again.
That sounds amazing.
It is. And to build that line of dominoes, you really only need to understand two concepts: a trigger and an action.
Trigger and action. Okay, how does that work in real life?
Let's anchor it in the physical world first. If we look at a house, a trigger is the doorbell ringing.
Okay.
The action is the dog barking, cause and effect.
Makes sense. Doorbell rings, dog barks.
Exactly. So in the digital world, the trigger is getting a new email. The action is saving the attachment from that email into a specific folder.
Okay, but here is where I think we need to open the hood a bit.
Yeah.
Because looking at the original source materials, there's this massive disconnect in how people think this works versus how it actually works.
Right, the invisible part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if the email is the doorbell and the folder is the dog, what exactly are tools like Zapier and Make baking? They aren't little humans sitting inside my computer clicking a mouse.
No, thankfully not.
So how do they actually know the doorbell rang?
Okay, so they operate as these invisible translators between two programs that speak entirely different languages. And to understand how they do this, we have to talk about something called an API.
API. Okay, what does that stand for?
It stands for Application Programming Interface.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Don't let the acronym intimidate you. Just think of an API like a menu at a restaurant.
A menu. Okay.
Right. When you go to a restaurant, you don't walk into the kitchen and start digging through the fridge.
And they'd probably kick you out.
Exactly. You look at the menu, which tells you exactly what the kitchen is willing to give you and how to ask for it. Every modern piece of software,
Like Gmail or Excel.
yeah, Gmail, Excel, Slack, whatever, they all have a digital menu.
Oh, I see. So Zapier and Make are basically digital waiters.
Exactly. They are the waiters. They take your order from one app's menu, walk over to another app, and deliver the food.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But the software documentation points out that these digital waiters check for new information in two very distinct ways, right?
Yes, very important distinction.
It said one is called polling and the other is a webhook.
Right. So polling is basically the digital equivalent of a kid in the backseat of a car.
Oh no.
Yeah, asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Just constantly nagging.
Precisely. Every 5 or 15 minutes, the automation tool knocks on Gmail's door and asks, do you have any new emails? If yes, it grabs them. If no, it waits 5 minutes and just asks again.
Okay, so what is a webhook then?
Webhooks are the exact opposite. Instead of constantly asking, the automation tool just leaves its phone number with Gmail and says, hey, call me the second a new email arrives.
Oh, wow. So it's instantaneous.
Exactly. It's the doorbell actually ringing.
Yeah.
No asking required.
Which brings us to a major question we found buried in the listener feedback.
Oh, yeah, the business question.
Yeah. A lot of people hear API and webhooks and workflow automation, and they immediately assume, this deep dive is only for massive tech startups.
Right, or like e-commerce stores processing thousands of orders a minute.
Exactly. Like if I don't run a business, why do I care about a digital waiter?
That is such a common misconception. The productivity blogs we pulled from actually focus heavily on the everyday individual.
Okay, so how does this help a normal person?
Well, this is about removing the mental clutter of a normal 9-to-5 job or even just your personal life.
Give me an example.
Take organizing a school PTA event.
Yeah.
You can set it up so that every time a parent fills out a digital sign-up form,
That's a trigger.
right, that's your trigger. Their information is instantly formatted into a spreadsheet, and they automatically get a personalized welcome email.
And that's the action.
Exactly. Or think about managing a personal budget. Every time an electronic receipt hits your inbox, the tool automatically reads the total amount and logs the date and cost in your budget spreadsheet.
Wow, so you never actually type in a receipt again.
Never. Or say you are on a job hunt. You can tell the tool to watch for any email containing the word interview in the subject line.
Oh, that's smart.
Right, and the action is to immediately send a text message to your phone so you never miss an opportunity.
Okay, but let me push back on that for a second.
Go for it.
If I only manage my personal budget like once a week, and it takes me maybe 20 minutes to manually type in those receipts, why should I spend 2 hours learning how to build a digital waiter to do it for me?
The classic time investment question.
Right. Isn't the setup time longer than the time I'm saving?
In the short term, yes. But the sources emphasize that automation isn't just about saving minutes, it's about shifting your role entirely.
What do you mean by shifting your role?
Well, when you build the automation, you stop being the manual laborer and you become the manager.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you invest 2 hours once, and you never have to think about data entry for that task again. You are buying back your own time permanently.
Which naturally leads us to the tools themselves, because now that we've established the value, we need to compare Zapier and Make directly.
Yes, the big showdown.
Because the software reviews we analyzed show that they go about this in fundamentally different ways.
Completely different.
I'll let you start with Zapier. How does Zapier work?
So, if we rely on everyday analogies, using Zapier is like going to a fast food drive-thru.
Okay, a drive-through.
It is highly structured, and it is built for pure speed. When you log into Zapier, you are looking at a very rigid top-to-bottom list.
Like a literal checklist.
Exactly. You click a drop-down to pick your trigger, you click another drop-down for your action, and you are done. It is step 1, step 2, step 3. Straight down the page.
And their biggest selling point, according to the documentation, is their sheer library of connections, right?
Oh, it's massive. They connect to over 8,000 different apps.
8,000? That's insane.
If a piece of software exists on the internet, Zapier almost certainly connects to its API menu.
Okay, so it's super compatible.
Very.
Yeah.
They also have this built-in AI assistant that makes the drive-through even faster.
Wait, really? How does that work?
You don't even have to click the drop-down menus anymore. You can literally just type a sentence in plain English.
Like what?
Like, I want to save my Gmail attachments to my Google Drive, and the AI selects the right triggers and actions and builds the list for you instantly.
Wow, that level of convenience is massive for a beginner.
It really is.
But the software reviews all point out a significant catch here.
Yeah.
And it comes down to how Zapier calculates their pricing.
Right, the catch.
Because Zapier charges you by the task.
Yeah.
And a task is counted every single time an action successfully happens.
Exactly. So if your automation has 3 steps, let's say it catches the email, then formats the text, then saves the file, you get charged for 3 tasks every single time that domino line falls.
Oh, wow. So every individual step costs you.
Yes. At a small scale, when you're just testing the waters, that's fine. But if you have an automation running all day long, it scales very poorly.
It adds up fast.
It is quite literally like paying $1 for every single French fry in the bag.
To put real numbers to that, Zapier's first real paid tier costs around $20 a month, right? And it only gets you 750 tasks.
Which sounds like a lot until you start automating.
Yeah, if you were automating anything with high volume, you will burn through those tasks in a week, and the price forces you up to $50 or $70 very quickly.
So Zapier is the premium drive-through. Fast, easy,
That
but you pay per fry.
paper fry, I like that.
So it brings us to Make. How does Make tackle the exact same problem?
Well, if Zapier is a rigid drive-through menu, Make is like cooking in an open kitchen with a giant blank whiteboard.
The blank whiteboard.
Okay, instead of a straight top-to-bottom list, Make gives you a visual canvas.
Okay.
You literally drag big, colorful circles around your screen to build a visual mind map of your automation.
Oh, so it's not a list at all.
Nope. Make actually calls these workflows scenarios.
Okay, I want to challenge the usefulness of that for a second.
Go ahead.
A visual whiteboard sounds creative, but doesn't that just make it way more confusing? Like, why do I need to drag colorful circles around when I just want to move an email to a folder?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
For a simple two-step process, a list is absolutely fine. But the visual canvas becomes totally necessary the moment you introduce complex logic.
What do you mean by complex logic?
Let's say you want your digital waiter to actually make decisions. You can drag a circle that represents your email inbox right into the middle of the screen.
Okay.
Then you can draw 3 separate lines branching out from that circle. You tell the first line, if the email is from my boss, route the data this way and send me a text.
Oh, I see.
You tell the second line, if it's a promotional newsletter, route it down this path and delete it. And you tell the third line, if it has a PDF attached, route it up here and save it.
So you're actually drawing a flow chart that acts as a traffic cop for your data.
Exactly. A
Yeah.
traffic cop. You can see exactly where the information splits and turns.
That actually sounds really helpful for fixing things. Like, you can see the lines connecting the apps, so troubleshooting is much easier.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But the massive benefit of Make-like, the reason the blogs say so many advanced users eventually switch to it, is the pricing model.
Right. How much is the open kitchen?
Make charges by the operation, but their buckets are astronomically larger. For just $9 a month, you get 10,000 operations.
Wait, let me make sure I'm hearing those numbers correctly.
Yeah.
Zapier is charging $20 for 750 tasks.
Right.
Make is charging $9 for 10,000 operations.
Depending on how you build your paths, Make can be up to 30 times cheaper per action. They just price their service fundamentally differently.
That is a massive difference, but there has to be a trade-off here.
There is.
If Make is drastically cheaper and lets you build these complex branching flowcharts, it requires you to learn a whole new visual interface.
Yeah, it takes time.
All right, I'm spending hours of my time figuring out how to connect these colorful circles. Isn't my time worth more than an $11 difference in subscription fees?
The software analysts we researched make exactly this point. The learning curve for Make is undeniably steeper.
It's harder to learn.
Yes. If you value time to first success above all else, like if you just want a simple automation running in 3 minutes flat, and you are willing to pay a premium for it, Zapier is the clear winner.
Drive-through speed.
Exactly. Make, on the other hand, is optimizing for what's possible once you actually know what you're doing, and it rewards your learning curve with drastically lower costs at scale.
Okay, this highlights some crucial questions that a beginner would naturally ask when looking at both of these tools.
Let's hear them.
Let's run through the practicalities we pulled from the user forums.
Sure.
First, the setup. Do you have to download heavy software to your computer to run either of these digital waiters?
Yep.
Is this going to chew up battery life on my laptop?
Not at all. Both Zapier and Make operate entirely in the cloud. They live in your web browser.
Oh, okay. So just like Netflix or Facebook.
Exactly. You just go to their website, log in, build your domino line, and close the window. The invisible hands are working on their servers, not on your hard drive.
So my laptop doesn't even need to be open.
Your computer can be completely powered off, and your automations will still run perfectly in the background.
Okay, second practical question, and this is a big one based on the listener notes we received.
What's that?
What happens when the digital dominoes inevitably break?
Yes, things break.
Right, like what if an app updates its API menu, or your login password for your spreadsheet just expires? Does the automation just fail silently and lose all your data in the void?
Thankfully, no. In the automation space, this is called error handling.
Error handling.
And Zapier handles this in a very simple binary way. If a step fails, the automation stops, and Zapier sends you an email saying, hey, your automation broke at step 2.
Okay, so you get an alert, but you still have to go fix it.
Right, you have to log in and figure out why. Make handles this quite differently because of its visual canvas.
How so? Like, what does the flowchart do?
Make provides visual safety nets. You can literally attach a secondary path to any circle on your whiteboard that acts as a backup plan.
A backup plan? That's brilliant.
Yeah, you can make Try to save this file to my folder. If the folder is full or the password fails, automatically wait 5 minutes and try again.
Oh, wow.
Or if it fails twice, take this alternate route and send the file to my email instead so I don't lose it.
So Make allows you to build a system that can catch its own mistakes before it ever even bothers you.
Exactly. That is incredibly powerful, but again, it requires more thought to set up.
Okay, third question from the beginner's perspective. If I just want to dip my toes in the water without handing over my credit card, do they offer free tiers?
Good news, they both do.
Oh, great.
Zapier gives you a free plan with 100 tasks a month. It's very small, but it's enough to build a basic 2-step automation and see how that AI builder feels.
100 fries for free.
Exactly. Make gives you a much larger free plan of 1,000 operations a month.
Wow, that's generous.
Yeah, for a solo operator just managing their personal life, you could potentially run on Make's free tier forever without ever paying a dime.
Yeah.
And neither requires a credit card to sign up.
Which gives us the perfect runway for the most important part of this deep dive. Because look, knowledge is only theoretical until you apply it.
Right. We don't want you to just listen to this breakdown and then go back to dragging and dropping files like a manual laborer.
Exactly. So we have one specific action we want you to take today. Just one.
Keep it simple.
Look at your daily routine and identify one repetitive digital chore that you absolutely hate doing. A task where you are just moving data from point A to point B.
Then go to either Zapier or Make, create a free account, and try to connect just those 2 apps.
Yeah, don't try to build a massive flowchart that runs your entire life.
No, just set up one trigger and one action. Get the digital doorbell to make the dog bark.
The moment you take your hands off the keyboard and watch a file magically organize itself for the first time, it shifts your entire perspective on how computers should actually work.
It really does. You stop viewing your devices as places where you do the work and start viewing them as places where you manage the work being done for you.
But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over that extends way beyond today's tools.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right now, we rely on third-party middlemen like Zapier and Make to translate between apps that refuse to speak the same language, right?
Yeah, they're the waiters.
But as artificial intelligence gets better at writing code and operating our software natively, will these digital waiters even need to exist in 5 years?
Oh, wow.
Like, will our calendars, emails, and spreadsheets just naturally learn to negotiate with each other without us having to build the bridges at all?
It's a fascinating question about the future of our digital workflows. I mean, AI could change everything.
Exactly. But until those apps learn to speak the same language, go build that first digital bridge and enjoy your newly reclaimed free time.